You're listening to the Wayward Atheist Podcast. Hello, everyone. If this is your first time listening, thank you for joining us. This is a podcast where borders collide, where the gloves are off, where filters are removed, where we tell you exactly what we think about the news, politics, and religion. The Wayward Atheist Podcast is dedicated to free thought, reason, and the pursuit of truth. You can follow us on Twitter at Wayward Atheist, on Spreaker, Stitcher, and iTunes. You can email us at waywardatheistpodcast@gmail.com. or leave us a comment on our Facebook page. So without further ado, let's get on with the show.
This week's episode of The Wayward Atheist has been brought to you by the Crafty Freethinker. Tired of boring old jewelry and charms? Why not wear a motherfucking T-Rex around your neck? Or a pendant of the Scarlet A? Handmade, secular, and science jewelry from the Crafty Freethinker gives you a nice alternative to boring old jewelry. Find the Crafty Freethinker on Etsy and Amazon. Links are in the show notes, or simply Google The Crafty Freethinker as one word. Hello and welcome to The Wayward Atheist. I'm Dave, aka The Great White North.
I'm Corinne, aka The Yank.
I'm Big Black Dave.
I'm Ed, the Everyday Atheist.
Today we are joined by
Allahng Blakok, apparently, because someone was dumb enough to let me on their show more than once. Actually, I won by default, apparently, so...
You were the only person that sent in an email.
Y'all motherfuckers need to, email, interact, do something, man.
At this point, I'm fucking flabbergasted with maybe I should have not said that you had to come on the show and do the segment. Maybe I should have just said, we'll pick a winner and then just talk about their topic, because maybe they're too scared to come on, or not too scared, or they just don't want to do a podcast. But fucking an email, man, with the numbers that we're pulling right now, the podcast is doubled within the past 3 weeks. The numbers have completely doubled. We're actually pulling in really good numbers. There's a lot of people listening. Nobody's fucking talking to us.
Maybe part of the reason was before we didn't have a website, but right now we have our brand new website, waywardatheist.com. So feel free to check us out, listen to our shows, and comment on there. Hopefully we'll get some more hits.
Yeah, man. Way. Come on, people.
Send all hate mail to David.
Send all hate mail to fucking Newfoundland. The rest of Canada does anyways. So yeah, we have our contest winner on tonight. Mike, otherwise known as Allahng Blakok. Before we jump into the show proper, I just wanted to say happy Pride to everybody in Ottawa. It's Pride Week started, I guess, yesterday or today here in the capital. So happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Looking back, my parents tried hard to do the right thing. To do things Jehovah's way. But because I didn't have a hatred for what's bad, I couldn't see anything wrong with my choices. This eventually led me to do things I later regretted. I ended up getting disfellowshipped.
Sonia Erickson has been disfellowshipped.
It crushed my whole family. Later, my father explained to me that I couldn't remain in the home because I refused to change my lifestyle. He told me I was having a negative effect on my younger brother and sister. And I'm out of his house. I was determined to do what I wanted. When I left home that day, all I could think about was Eric. I didn't even care that my parents' hearts were breaking. I didn't think about the devastation and disappointment that I had caused them. I blamed my parents for my situation. I even blamed Jehovah. My family missed me so much, even after all I had done. What helped them to remain loyal to Jehovah for the many years I was disfellowshipped? It was the Bible account of Aaron. Jehovah directly judged 2 of Aaron's sons and put them to death. In this case, Jehovah asked Aaron and his family not to mourn, in order to show the entire nation that they supported Jehovah's judgment. Mom and Dad saw that they needed to be loyal, just like Aaron. They loved me and wanted me to come back to Jehovah. I tried to contact them. I just wanted to talk and to hear their voice. I missed being with my family, and they thought about reaching out to me. But they knew that if they had associated with me, even a little, just to check on me, that small dose of association might have satisfied me. It could have made me think that there was no need to return to Jehovah.
Disfellowshipping and shunning. Jehovah's Witnesses disfellowship those deemed unrepentant wrongdoers for practices such as disagreeing with Watchtower doctrine, smoking, and fornication. A disfellowshipped person is to be shunned by all family members and friends, usually for the remainder of their lives. So they go through a tremendous amount of emotional suffering. Although there is scriptural precedent to limit association with wrongdoers, Watchtower application of disfellowshipping seriously deviates from the Bible guidelines in multiple ways. For every 100 Jehovah's Witnesses, more than one is disfellowshipped each and every year. So far, there's over 80,000 of them, with 2 out of every 3 never being reinstated. Being disfellowshipped results in serious emotional side effects because those that continue to believe Watchtower doctrine are told that while they are disfellowshipped, they are condemned to everlasting destruction. Those who become unbelievers with no intention of returning to the Watchtower Society realize they are unlikely to freely associate with witnesses, family members, and friends for the remainder of their lives.
If I was a Jehovah Witnesses leader, I'd be shunning everybody. They're only letting 144,000 into that bitch, so I gotta stack the fucking odds in my favor. Fucking
secure your position.
That's right, you fart in a temple, you're fucking shunned. Coughing, shunned.
Wow, I can only imagine, because I've been doing Bible study with some Jehovah's Witnesses, and I can only imagine how the family unit. I'm actually going. I've been on break for a bit, but I go to their house, and it's just sort of like a father-daughter thing. I can only imagine how the family dynamic will change if thoughts are planted in one family member's brain and things go differently. It must be a very strange situation to be in.
Oh, definitely has to be strange. Can you imagine? Well, I mean, I know from personal experience what that feels like, but having your family members turn their back on you, the people that are supposed to love you from the moment you were born, they turn their back on you as if you didn't exist, that you weren't even part of the family. It's a horrible idea, and it needs to be repudiated with all stringency, I think, personally.
Yeah, now I'm kind of looking at it as an outsider, obviously, lifelong atheist. But I'm thinking that I don't know if it happens at this day and age, but I'm looking at it thinking like maybe if there's some jealousy in those settings, like people could go and lie to the temple, whatever they call them. I don't know if they call them priests and Jehovah's Witnesses, or to other family members, and have a person shunned that didn't even really do anything. Well, I think that takes place.
Well, definitely. I can tell you from personal experience. When I came home off my mission early, my branch president told my family and everybody who would listen that I left because I was homosexual. Now, not that being homosexual is anything wrong with it, but it's like the worst thing that anybody could call you.
But if you're not homosexual, then there is something wrong with people calling you homosexual.
Well, definitely.
If you are actually homosexual, then there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're not, then there is, because they're fucking lying about you.
Yeah, but it's part of the religion. It's just a way to damn someone to hell, basically.
Yeah, I mean, they can't face the fact that there's something wrong with the doctrine of the religion. They have to say it's something wrong with you personally. And I think that is, in and of itself, horrible. But when your family and friends, people that because you're so close knit in these communities, you don't associate with non-believers very often. So once you're sent out to the wolves, so to speak, you're alone. You have no community, no footing, nowhere to turn if you're in trouble. This is a major, not only does it affect you psychologically, but it does sociologically. It fucks you up because you have nobody to support you in any ways whatsoever.
And that's actually why I sent this topic in, because shunning is a thing that a lot of people from a lot of different religions, and then at other levels in social groups, you have shunning within like schoolyard cliques and stuff like that. But shunning has some serious psychological effects on people and is a very good sign that you are in a cult. If you're ever in a group and you're told that if somebody does certain things, then you're to never speak to them again, then you're probably in a cult.
Definitely.
And the psychological effects of shunning are rooted in our actual instincts. We're social creatures. So when you're shunned, it's not just like your conscience, feelings are hurt. Like instinctually, your life basically falls apart. You guys mentioned like your family shunning you, but that's not just the extent of the shunning, because Ed would know, having been a Mormon, I assume, that your entire life is based within a community. If your boss is a Mormon, if your boss is a Jehovah's Witness, if the people who you rent your house from are in a cult religion, and you're shunned from that cult, you literally lose everything.
Yeah, and it's a heavy price to pay, Mike. I mean, when you have, your financial life can be ruined. You could be kicked out of the house. You could lose a marriage, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, what have you. I mean, this is not just, someone saying, "Oh, you're not part of our group anymore." I mean, these are serious things that are happening to you. And, many people commit suicide over this because, or either that, or they repent really quickly and fall in line, or don't even go. They may have questions, but they don't push against it because they don't want to feel the ramifications of what's coming if they get shunned. So they stay almost like robots, and their whole personality gets drained from them.
And we saw the video with the girl talking about her shunning. Look at her. Just listen to the way she talks. She sounds like a robot. She sounds like everything's been drained out of her.
Like a Stepford wife.
That's pro-Jehovah's Witness propaganda right there, as far as I understand.
It is. It's from the Watchtower.
Yeah.
It's a scary proposition, and many people that have never experienced that type of abuse, and that's the only thing I could call it. Those people who've never experienced that and think that, oh, I'd stand up to them. No, you fucking wouldn't, because seriously, this is all you know. This is everything that you put your effort in. These are the people that you talk to. These are your friends that you've had for years. And it's your fucking family. Everybody there you are close to in some way. There's no way that you would turn your back on them. And because it not only do you lose your family here on earth, in their cockeyed ideology, you're going to lose your eternity. So you're going to burn for hell. You got a fucked up life in this life. I mean, this is major mindfuck when you're talking about this stuff.
Yeah, and think about how many people that no longer believe in Jehovah or any of these crazy fucked up cults actually stay in the church because they're worried about losing their wife. They're worried about losing their kids. They no longer believe, but they know that their wife and kids aren't going to talk to them anymore.
Yeah, that's more of what I was getting at, was because it is such an instinctual level social reaction, you'd fear absolutely everything about it, even though you know that whatever they're trying to feed you is bullshit. Like Ed was saying, I believe it was Ed, it is literally everything in your life. It's everything you know. And to lose that at an animalistic level is just terrifying. To them, it's even without the prospect of heaven or hell.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like sitting and thinking about death. If you just sit down and think about the fact that you will die one day, no matter how you work it consciously, instinctually, you will become terrified. And that's another tool that they use But that's a different topic.
It is kind of instinctual. Like we've lost it ourselves once we came down from the trees. But if you look at chimpanzee communities, they shun. I think bonobos do it as well, and all down into other pack mammals as well, like wolves, and males will get kicked out of the pride once they're a certain age with lions. And a lot of times it means death for them too. So if you go back to before we had civilization and cities, and it was a lot easier for a one person unit to maneuver because food is so easy to get. But if you're hunter gatherer and you have tools for hunting, but you're in a situation where, just say it takes like 10, 15 people to take down an animal because of the rudimentary tools that you have for hunting, and you're shunned by your tribe, you're pretty much fucked. Like one human just isn't going to make it in the wild. But we lost that kind of, I guess, realizing that, shunning fucks people over royally, and it's only the cults that do it now.
It's the whole ideology behind it is scary. It's a way to install these, as Christopher Hitchens always called it, mind forged manacles. They start the process, but you finish it because of your fear. You make sure that you never ever question the doctrine for fear. I know many people that have been kicked out of their homes and have committed suicide just for the simple fact that they can't survive socially on their own. Everything they've known, like everything, is based around that ideology.
Yeah. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the FDL and their shunning of the young boys, Edward.
Well, when you look at FLDS Church.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know the acronym properly. The assholes in fucking Utah that are up in the mountains.
Yeah, the FLDS fundamentalist Mormons, basically, to keep your harem, basically the older males, will often, when a male reaches the age of 16, 17, will drive them right out of the community so that he can keep the number of breeding females into his, and I have to talk about it like it's an animalistic thing, because that's how they treat it. It's not like these people are individuals that have emotions and feelings and experiences. Not to them. They think that basically I have to have a certain number of females for me, and this guy is going to observe not just the females but my power. He's coming up. He's going to be of age soon where he can challenge me spiritually, quote unquote. And so basically they drive them out of the community. And many of these young men are, like I said, 16, 17 years of age with no skill whatsoever. And they're just thrown out to the wild, basically. Good luck. Hope you make it.
Yeah, that's fucking intense, eh?
And half the time it's your own father or your uncle or your grandfather that's doing this. This is not something like, some fucking dickhead you don't even know. These are family members and cousins and, and fucking friends that are doing this.
Well, do any of you actually know, like, the psychological conditions that being shunned by basically your entire world can cause for people? There's a reason that there's, like, websites and stuff for this.
Well,
unfortunately, it is an animalistic instinct, but fortunately, we've kind of come up a bit on the evolutionary line to where we can recognize this now and offer help to people.
Yeah, I mean, there are literally priests and reverends and ministers that are going through this right now that are still preaching their message, because they were, even though they're fucking atheists, they all are. These people that I'm talking about, they're all atheists, but they'll continue preaching, because they're afraid of losing everything and be shunned by their community, because that's all they fucking know. And the idea that, the amount of emotional stress that they go through is unbelievable. I can't, it's similar to, PTSD in many respects, because this is, you're destroying everybody's life. Your wife, and your children don't even want to be around you once you break off. So this is something that many people don't understand how destructive religion really is when you think about it.
Well, yeah, religion plays on a lot of different, like, core human emotions. So that's one of the main dangers of cults and religions, such as the Jehovah's Witness and the Mormons, and basically any religion.
Depending on the severity of it, there's Christians that'll shun family members for not following Christ anymore. I've seen it myself, where they just don't talk to them anymore.
A lot of them use full-on shunning, and they just use exclusion.
Yeah, that's true.
And what I find is really disturbing too is like they don't teach proper education about sex. They don't teach how to use, they forbid them to use condoms. They're teaching these children fucked up shit in school that doesn't even creationism. They have their education level is destroyed. And then if they get pregnant, if a female gets pregnant or a guy has sex out of wedlock, they're shunned. So you're basically creating a cesspool of credulity, and you're pissed if they fucking fall into the hole. It makes no sense. It's like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
I like to think about it like a cloning factory, because that's basically what they're trying to do. All religions and cults and stuff build like viruses. They just try and replicate themselves over and over and over. And anything that is not a replica of themselves is ignored, basically.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't want any individual thinking in a cult, Mike.
Any insight how this type of stuff starts? Like how this begins to happen to families and...
Well, there's two ways that people join cults or religions. You're either born into it or you come across it. And they're both, the tactic to suck somebody into both of them is basically the same. You might know the term love bombing. It's a thing that a lot of cults do when someone first enters or tries to leave the cult. Everybody says, "Oh, I love you so much. I wish you weren't doing this," and blah, blah, blah. For some cults like Jehovah's Witnesses, I know, people will actually just like show up and leave you a cake saying Jehovah loves you or some shit. They're trying to smother you with attention, because attention is a core instinctual need for social mammals, human beings. They do that from birth, telling you about how much Jehovah loves you, or what's that Mormon dude's name? Wasn't a lying fraud.
Oh, Joseph Smith.
Man. Yeah, that dude.
I've experienced that too. Even to now, I have Mormons coming to my door trying to get me back. It's retarded. I mean, I've been out of it now over 10 years, and they still are trying to get me back in. What they'll do is when I first joined the church, I was 11 years old, and it was the most positive experience that I could have had. They were my friends. They were, they just surrounded me like you just said, Mike. It was this orgy of friendship that they, circled you with, and then that progresses all the way up, and so you're inculcated with all this support.
As far as your brain chemistry is concerned, it's basically an endorphin rush. They get you high.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it their tact?
Well, let me ask you something, Edward. Maybe, I don't know if David will have anything to add to this, being Catholic. I don't know how worried he was about shunning. Were you, when you were at your most believing, or whatever you want to call it, did you have fear of being shunned? Did you have fear of doing the wrong things and being shunned?
Yeah, definitely. But it wasn't of being shunned specifically. It was more about disappointing those around me. And I've seen other people that were quote unquote shunned, but it wasn't like it was talked about. It was just like, this person is doing something wrong. Oh my God. If I follow them, I'll go to hell, basically. So it was this, you even start talking to yourself about it. Basically, if I follow this person, I'm going to go to hell. So it's better off if I ignore who they are. Because you're worried about your own salvation at that point too, right?
Well, that's, as far as I understand, that's like soft shunning. Pretending someone's invisible, not like flat out shunning them.
Yeah, no, and that would be for just...
every opportunity, pretend you don't acknowledge, you don't know they're in the room or whatever.
And that would be only for those who weren't excommunicated, or those were active members that did something wrong. If you had a person that was a non-active member, or someone who was excommunicated for something, they would have no contact with anybody in the church.
Now I'm going to ask you a little bit of a tougher question. Did you participate in shunning people?
Yeah, I'll be the first minute. I'm ashamed of it.
Can you explain the thought process behind that for us?
Again, the thought process was simple. These people have done something extremely wrong, and the church, the hierarchy in the church said that it was wrong, meaning that it was against God. And if I joined, if I did speak to them, if I did talk to them, if I was a friend to them, I could be brought down to the same level. And you're, again, I can't stress this enough. I'm looking at the long-term goal. I'm looking at being with my Father for eternity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not letting this person drag me away from that. So those mental gymnastics that you're doing.
Did you have an understanding of the way that person would be feeling, though?
No. And you don't have that. You can't have that understanding until you go through it yourself, to be quite honest.
Okay.
But now that all the fucking bullshit is gone, yes, you can see it. But when you're inculcated and in the situation, you just don't see it because you're trained not to see it. You're looking for uplifting things that make you closer to God. You're not looking to things that, like, people that have done something to rebel against God.
It's fucking crazy. Or an imaginary friend.
Yeah.
That's step 2 to bringing somebody into a cult. So you love bomb them, you give them attention, you basically provide family for them. And then you slowly start making them believe that anybody who is not completely with them is against them. It's the us versus them. This works at every social level, but within cults, it's to the point of it's us versus them, and if you even look at them, you are not with us.
Yep, I agree.
I could even imagine a situation where some insidious fucking dirtbag sexual predator would use that against either a woman or a younger male to get sex out of them, do this, or I'm going to get you excommunicated or shunned. Excommunicated is such a stupid thing to say. It's shunning. It's just their way of saying it nicely. I can imagine that scenario happening.
Yeah.
Well, Dave,
yeah.
Corinne came down here and we went to a rock show, and I actually at the hotel picked up an entire book on how to do this. It's by some guy named Mormon. It's apparently his book.
But I'm gonna, what's really scary, and I'm really pissed about myself, and I'm still pissed about it today. I brought my family into this. I was the first one in my family to be baptized and to be a Mormon. It wasn't until I was 16 and I baptized my own parents into this, right? This is something that I brought my parents into, and then by age 19, my parents had turned their back on me.
Did the people that initially brainwashed you, quote unquote, did they give you instructions on how to do that to the rest of your family? How did that work? How did it spread?
It's not that subtle. It's not that blatant. It's more subtle than what. Basically, you are from day one. You're given what the rules are, basically, and how this makes you closer to God. This is what it's supposed to be that will lead you to the path of righteousness. And there are things like in the Book of Mormon, there's a thing called the Lehi's Dream, and he talks about how he saw this large and spacious building floating in the air in his dream, and there was a path with a basically an iron rod that people were holding onto. And basically the people in the building were laughing and mocking you and saying how stupid you were. But there are some that would let go of that rod and go astray away and fall into everlasting darkness. And those who were righteous and held on to the rod and moved up the path were exalted. That is those little tiny things. Just think about the psychological implications of that narrative. If the people that are making fun of you, atheists who say your beliefs are stupid, and you believe them, and you leave, you're going to basically outer darkness, which is worse than hell in Mormonism. But if you're righteous and ignore them, then you're going to be exalted to the celestial kingdom where you'll be with your family forever. Think of that and explain to me how you would perceive that.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
It's not necessarily to do with shunning, but I thought everybody got their own planet in your fucked up religion. So how are you all going to be together if every motherfucker gets his own planet?
Every adult male will get his own planet. If
Okay, so how are you going to be with your... And I'm not attacking
Dude,
you.
if you've got your own planet, you've got a goddamn spaceship. Come on.
That's true.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Your husband. In many cases, you will never ever be with your family because you're too busy creating your own universe and your own worlds and things.
And taking copious amounts of LSD.
Yeah.
No, that's before the creating your own worlds.
And basically, I will. And to be blunt, a man that that makes it to the top tier of the celestial kingdom, or top tier of heaven, basically will have more than one wife. He'll have a harem. So there's also all these benefits of multiple partners. I mean, it's more enticing than you think, but looking at it on the outside, you're laughing and say, "Holy fuck, how do you believe this?" But as a child and growing up with this bullshit, inculcated where there's no one else, no influences around you. Even in school, say there was 3 Mormons, we'd hang out together and the rest of the school would be fucked. We wouldn't care about the rest of the school.
Yeah, you shun the school.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking pricks.
Yeah. And it's, you look at it now and you're like, holy fuck,
who do you think's worse for shunning, Mormons or Jehovah's?
I think we're on par.
Yeah,
it really depends on which temple or kingdom hall or whatever that you're associated with.
But Mike, I think Mormonism is more subtly abusive in that respect because they kill you with kindness, and whereas J-Dubs or Jehovah's Witnesses are more direct and to the point.
Well, they just ignore your existence for the most part. Some of them, like very close family, might accidentally leave you a letter or something.
Yeah, well,
but for the most part, they just flat out ignore your existence. Like, oh, you had a house and a job? Not Tuesday.
Yeah, my mother never spoke to me for years. Only recently that we started speaking again. But, that type of thing is crazy, right? This is what I'm talking about. You're not talking about a little tiny disagreement and people are not talking to you for a week. This could go on your entire fucking life.
Yeah, and it's a way that religions are truly damaging. And like I was saying before, luckily we're beyond that point. And if you know the signs of a cult and you can recognize them, then you can find out, first of all, if you yourself are involved in a cult or similar, and find resources to get the hell out without destroying your life. There are other people that, like, for Jehovah's Witnesses, there's entire groups and networks for ex-Jehovah's Witnesses to help out other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. Because if this is something you fear, someone else has already had the problem. That's the law of Google. I mean, if you are currently a Jehovah's Witness, then there are closed groups and secret groups for it. You just kind of got to look around. But one resource for questioning Jehovah's Witnesses in particular is called XJW, ex-Jehovah's Witness.
That sounds like SJW. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's why I accidentally slipped up earlier. It's so close.
Well,
EXJW, Atheists and Questioning or some similar whatnot. I have it on my Facebook, so I haven't spelled the whole name out for a while.
And we'll include that in our show notes, right? The links?
Yeah, we'll put it in our show notes.
You can actually, on most social media platforms, and even in Google, just type in X, whatever your denomination or whatever your affiliation is, and look for, I wouldn't say like Facebook groups and whatnot per se, but actual professional help. People who, there's organizations that come together to help ex-Mormons, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, ex-cult members in general.
And if you're listening to this and you are still a believer and you've been excommunicated or you've been shunned and you're an atheist, if you contact me, I'll be your friend. You can ask Edward.
Yeah, I mean,
he's here because I heard about him on a different podcast that he was a lone ex-Mormon in a part of Canada where there's not a lot of atheists. I searched him out and now he's a fucking co-host on the show. So I'm not just saying this. I'm being serious. Get a hold of me through through either our email, our website, or contact me personally on Facebook, and I'll introduce you to my little community, and I'll hang out with you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It goes for me too. At least in North America, and under a democracy, we don't have to worry about being killed as apostates. But it's just as fucking bad in some respects because your life can be taken from you, without having to be killed. You're like a walking zombie. If you have any inkling that this is going to happen to you, please contact somebody. Please let us know so that we can get you into contact with people that can help you in your area.
Corinne?
Yes.
Yes. What's Daryl Ray's charity?
I think it's the Recovering from Religion.
Yes, Recovering from Religion Foundation.
Yeah.
I think that's another good resource for people that have been shunned and are going through the psychological trauma of that. I would assume that that's probably going to be a good resource for them, and they'll have people that are trained to deal with that situation, I'm going to assume.
Well, there is one group I particularly like to plug. That would be the Taylor Scholarship. It was originally set up by the My Book of Mormon podcast. And it's a place that if you want to help people that are going through this specific, like, especially in the Salt Lake City area, like high Mormon concentration, you can look up the Taylor Scholarship. I believe it's Whitechapel or something like that. I'll send the guys the link.
Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes. So we're going to wrap up this segment, but we're going to ask Mike to stick around for the next one.
Fine.
Since Trump's primary victory, most religious leaders have rallied to his side, with few notable holdouts. Some are backing Trump because, as former Obama faith advisor Michael Weir has said, disliking Hillary Clinton is basically a supplement to the Nicene Creed for many evangelicals. Some are justifying their support for Trump based on the political calculation that his policies and Supreme Court nominees will be more likely than Hillary Clinton's to advance the religious rights political agenda, including opposition to abortion. But there have also been a range of religious justifications offered for Trump's candidacy. So many religious leaders have suggested that Trump is, in David Barton's words, God's guy, that the Christian Broadcasting Network's Jenna Browder recently asked him directly whether he thought God had chosen him. Here are just some of the religious arguments made on Trump's behalf. Number one, God is using Trump to pave the way for the second coming.
Can I jump in here real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So when they said his policies, can somebody, like, other than the fact that his little whipping boy Pence has said that he's going to repel abortion laws, and a couple of the other Republicans have said that they're going to set forth things. Can somebody name one policy other than the fucking wall? We know the wall, and we know the mark of fucking.
Listen. He's going to get rid of the Affordable Care Act.
Is that what he said?
He's going to replace it with something amazing.
Okay. Yes.
He doesn't know what it is, but it's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome.
Beside the wall, I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a moat with sharks with frickin' laser beam.
I'm asking a serious question here.
Yeah, I know. But no, seriously, I have no idea.
There's no fucking policies. He hasn't said any fucking policies. Fuck off with the policies. Okay, go ahead, Edward. Sorry.
So Frank Aminda, a pastor who has been serving as Trump's Christian policy liaison, said that God told him personally last year that Trump would win the GOP nomination and help pave the way for the second coming. Sweet.
Okay, so we're going to listen to a crazy person that thinks that he talks to imaginary sky daddies now. Jesus fucking Christ. What is wrong with, like, and I don't want to be like, oh, fucking Republicans, because everybody always shits on them. What the fuck is wrong with these people? They, like, you're a politician wanting to be in a position of running the most powerful nation ever fucking known in the history of man. And you're appealing to fucking bullshit sky daddy nonsense. It's crazy. Like, personally, me, I find it fucking crazy.
Well, again, you go back to the eschatology stuff, right? It's it's this idea of the second coming. It's this extreme religious right that are willing, perhaps.
Well, then they should take their ass to Israel, where he's supposed to come back, and fuck shit up over there. This is North America. We want fucking...
Oh, wait a second. Mormons believe it's in, you guessed it, North America. It's in the United
but they're
States.
not Mormons. They're not Mormons, though.
Well, what I was going to say is that
it doesn't matter. It's just an appeal to religion, because guess what the majority of the world is? Fucking religious. The majority of America, fucking Christian. Most Christians want the world to fucking explode and burn in a fucking fight between hell and heaven. And that's all they want.
Not only that, is that they believe that America is the fundamental to bringing about the end of the world. Like, America's foreign policy, America's decisions in the world are the catalyst by which to bring back.
Oh, okay. So let's elect those fucking people then.
Yeah, it's true. But like people
to end, so
people want the world.
No, I don't.
Exactly.
I don't want them to end. I'm being completely sarcastic.
No, I know you're
Tell
right, but like
them to
people
fucking
do.
beat it.
But people want the world to end so that they can go to Jesus. Like that's the whole
fuck
point.
those crazy motherfuckers.
Well, then you need to fucking outvote them. Democracy's a motherfucker like that.
I don't tell people who to vote for. So.
Yeah, no, neither do I. I'm just saying, you need to, like, outvote the fucking crazies.
Well, we can't do anything
you
here.
just gotta pick
right?
your crazy.
Yeah, David's right. We can't do anything from here. We're Canadians.
No, we can't.
We just get stuck. We just get stuck with whoever you fucking dummies vote in.
Well, I mean, as of right now, like, Atheist show, the atheist community doesn't really have enough of a vote to really enact change at the moment.
Yeah.
But you can enact change through, like, legislation and shit. So.
Yeah, well, in Canada, we were happy with the last two elections. Like, I don't know, most people I know, I think there's only a couple people that I know that and one of them being my father-in-law, which is really funny that the brown man doesn't like Barack Obama being president, but he never liked it from the beginning because he's super conservative. But most people I know that they're happy with Obama's presidential reign here in Canada. They even named a fucking dessert after him. So in Canada, we have in Ottawa, we have a famous the pastry is called a beaver tail, and they made one for Barack Obama and named it after him. People like him. People like him here. Okay, well, next one, Edward. Now that I fucking derailed you.
Number 2. God is using Trump to get pastors to fight for religious freedom. Pastor Michael Anthony, president of God Factor and founder of the National Week of Repentance, attended Trump's June meeting with evangelicals and said he is convinced God is using Trump to move Christians to act, to defend their religious freedom.
So George Bush, Mitt Romney, all these other people, those people didn't get the Christians to act. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden it's Trump, who's probably not even a Christian. He's like Sam Harris thinks he's a full-on atheist. Well, for sure he's not religious.
I feel like, how did Cruz get kicked out of this fucking pigeonhole? Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. This seems more like a fucking Cruz agenda, not a Trump. I just don't get this.
Well, they have to say this shit though, right? They have to, because Trump is the guy that was nominated, and in order for their party to be in power, they need to get the super religious vote out there. So they kind of have to say, like, I think you could just insert fucking any Republican and they're going to be saying this.
Yeah.
It's not specific to Trump. It's not specific to Trump. It's just whoever's in charge of the Republicans.
I've always had the theory that there's a conflict between the different factions of quote unquote conservative, like small c conservatism.
But overall they're still going to vote Republican.
Yeah. Even though their issues may conflict. And moreover, with this quote, I mean, religious freedom is it, I think maybe a dog whistle, is that what you call it? It just means like freedom to discriminate, right? Like, whenever you hear that word, that's exactly what. Whenever you hear that term.
The connotations of the phrase religious freedom. Yeah.
So I get freedom to discriminate against gay people and trans people.
Yeah, it's the connotations.
Yeah, I could agree with that for sure, because what they're crying about is it's not okay to discriminate against gay people, so they're allowed to be married now. So they call it, religious freedom.
We have freedom to express religion, but that freedom stops where somebody else is harmed. So
Yeah.
you can waive your fucking constitution all you want, but your religion stops where other people are harmed. If you're harming other people because of your religion, then you can fuck the fuck off.
And stay out. Well, like Corinne, she's the woman on the show. Stay out of Corinne's ovaries.
Dude,
Yeah.
just stay out of everybody's
Fucking right.
genitals. And my genitals. I do what I want.
Yeah. You want to suck a dick? I'll suck a dick, motherfuckers. Okay.
That's what
next
he
one.
said.
Next one.
Number 4, Trump would make an American friendlier to Israel. Many conservative evangelicals have embraced a theological approach to the Middle East policy, interpreting Bible verses to suggest that in order to enjoy God's blessing, America must unconditionally support the Israeli government.
Well, that's what I was talking about. They need, that's where Jesus is supposed to come back, is Jerusalem, right? So they need the Israel to be a standing country. So of course
Well,
they're
that's
gonna.
also how you convince people to be on your side.
Mhm.
Tell them that you're key to their ultimate goal.
Yeah.
They all have one goal in mind, and that's the apocalypse, basically. No matter what faction you're with, it's the apocalypse. And to achieve that goal, you need to fall in line with the rest of the fucking people.
There's a great documentary out there, and I'm sorry that I'm remiss and I can't remember the name of it, but it's about this specifically, and it's about the American Christian right funding things in Israel and personally funding like buildings and stuff and doing pilgrimages to Israel for setting it up for the second coming. I don't know if you guys type that into Google or whatever, like American Right documentary Israel. It may pop up, but it was fascinating because a lot of them are politicians that are doing this, and they're doing it with their own money as well as American money, because we all know that the United States sends Israel a lot of fucking money for their defense systems and stuff.
Sometimes foreign policy might lead us to support Israel. Sometimes it might lead the United States. When I'm saying us, I'm saying like the United States for the most part, and Canada too, because we have investment.
Yeah, we send them money as well.
Yeah, but like the broader issue is what kind of foreign policy do you want? You want a foreign policy that's based on the Bible, or do you want it based on sound political evidence and geopolitical data that's fed to us and allows us to make great choices? That's the big thing. If someone says that we're going to follow Israel because of the Bible or because it's, some kind of destiny.
Well, you can justify the cost too. You can always find some way to justify your actions. It doesn't matter if it's for religious or political purposes. It's just that religion is used to influence politics.
But I mean,
because religion is designed to be above all else. So
Yeah.
what the fuck else are you gonna do?
So that's just
Appeal
it's just a
to the
red
mass.
it's a red flag. All I'm saying is just, for me, if I'm a voter and someone mentions that, they're going to form their foreign policy based on biblical eschatology.
What's really fucked up, and I don't want to drag this too much into the Palestine Israeli
Okay.
situation, the quagmire that is the Gaza Strip, but we send money to both, right? So we send money to Palestine and we send money to Israel. If it was me, as long as they were fighting, the money would stop and we would go over there.
Well, as long
United
as we
States
keep them.
and Canada and bash their heads together, tell them to fucking knock it off or you're not getting any more money. And if you cut off the fucking purse string, I would imagine that, eventually they're going to fucking probably stop fighting with each other, because we send a lot of money. Like North America sends a lot of money to that area.
Well, what's the return on profit?
No.
Because you don't just do something that just randomly costs
so I'm
you
saying
money.
if it was me, I think that the Christian right gets to keep their Israel and as far as the
Their holy land.
Palestine, they get to keep their holy land.
Yep.
And as far
And
as
so to keep the party in power, it's worth
Yeah.
the cost of war.
yeah, and I think that the Palestine side is that they don't look as bad if they're sending money to the Palestinians as well. But you know what I mean? Like,
but the reason why they want Israel to be a successful country and they send oodles of money and the Christian right want to back Israel is, again, coming back to the end of the world. They believe that the conflict in in the Gaza Strip and in Israel and between Israelis and Palestinians will create the Armageddon that will bring on the Messiah. This cult of death is going to do just what it wants to kill the planet if it's not held in check. And this is a scary proposition to have someone that's willing to do this. It's beyond me. But anyway, let's get back to our...
And just before we do, just so everybody knows, I don't take a side in that conflict. I think they're both fucking cunts.
I take a side of peace. I want the stuff, their shit to end and just peace and stability. That's my side.
But there will be no peace in the Middle East as long as the parties of God are fucking involved.
Yeah, I agree.
Would it be possible to just like outlaw guns over there? If we outlaw guns, they'll stop shooting each other.
Well, no, but it's so one side is like firing rockets. So let's outlaw rockets.
Yeah. Number 11. We're going to jump ahead to number 11 because it's quite fun. Trump is a divine wrecking ball to the spirit of political correctness.
Oh gosh.
Oh my good Lord.
Mike Thompson says that the Lord began speaking to him around 2005 about certain spirits attempting to control America. These spirits are Jezebel and parasimism, whatever the fuck that is, which are manifested through the land by political correctness. Ooh.
Really? Like,
wait a minute, manifested?
That's how it's written here. It's fucked.
I would imagine it would be because that sounds dumb as shit.
So when I actually think of fucking somebody politically correct, so I don't necessarily jump to a liberal right-wing person in my mind. I would think of like one of those like super geeky religious people that doesn't swear and is like fucking Poindexter type of person. I don't know. That's just one of the things that pops out in my mind. Like Ned Flanders.
Well, all politically correct means is that your actions are widely accepted by the general community, and it's an idea that nobody should ever be offended or harmed. Like, if you look up the dictionary definition, one of you can Google it right now. I believe it does say an idea that... Anyway, if you look up the dictionary definition right now, then I'm pretty sure it includes the idea that nobody should ever be offended. But in all reality, that's all subjective and down to a very small level. So general political correctness, nobody should be offended. At a subculture political correctness, you need to take into account all of the ideologies around. So when a redneck says, I can't be politically correct and they won't let me make fun of all them Mexicans on more, what he's really saying is the general community frowns upon my shenanigans. So I'm just going to go hang out with a bunch of other people where what I say is politically correct within my social circle.
Yeah, and wouldn't you say, I don't know if you'd call this politically correct, but wouldn't you say like a super right-wing Christian person or a religious person that is like, oh, all these fags, they offend me, their presence offends me. What would you say that is like, just like, other than being a bigoted dick, but would you call them like easily offended people?
Oh yeah, they're definitely easily offended.
Yeah.
Like a fucking dude holding hands with another dude offends them.
Yeah.
But in no way fucking harms them. If anything, harms the people that are doing it according to their own doctrine. The fuck's so offensive about that?
Nothing in my view, but
I can't hold
it's kind of sexy.
Yeah, that's what it is. They want to hold the hand too, right? So, but they can't.
Well, they want the hand around their micro.
Well, a lot of them do, because being told that something is taboo basically fetishizes it sometimes.
That makes sense. Hey, Mike, it's taboo to jerk me off.
I kind of want to do it less now that it's taboo. I thought it was all good, but okay.
Go ahead, Edward. Sorry.
Number 12. God has picked Donald Trump to beat down the walls of the New World Order. But
build a new one.
Here we go.
The goddamn New World Order. Everybody was calling the Republicans the New World Order, like when it was like George Bush, Ronald Reagan during that era. That's what the New World Order was. Like, what the fuck? What happened? Like, the New World Order is now the left?
Well, let me tell you. Rick Wiles was so excited about Trump accusing President Obama and Hillary Clinton of having founded the terrorist group ISIS.
What? All right.
Quote.
Sure, we're going somewhere.
Donald Trump is telling the truth. Obama and Clinton are behind ISIS. This is what True News has said for years.
True News.
It's like he's a battering ram. It's like God has picked him up and used him as a battering ram to beat down the walls of the New World Order. Bah! What a fucking idiot.
Oh, okay, so like
You're on a roll, Ed.
Megadeth even made a song about it, like the New World Order. That was during the deregulation time when Reagan economics really fucking took hold and people, started having like noticing all the deregulation, and so they were really kind of backlashing against that. And it was during a time when the phrase was coined before, but people really started using it to describe the right during that era when Megadeth made the New World Order song. So I mean, you can't steal it, man. It's already New World Order is the Republican Party, so go fuck yourself. There. What do you have to say about that, Mike?
Isn't the New World Order generally just anybody who's in power and against you?
No, it
the Illuminati too. Like anyone who's in power and against you, it's the Illuminati. If your party's in power, everything goes wrong because the Illuminati's on the other side.
Yeah, and Dave's favorite pastor is selling food to help you through.
Oh, is it that sexy old gay black dude? Oh wait, no, he's not gay. He just likes semen lattes.
No, that's Pastor Manning. I'm talking about Dave's favorite pastor who likes to hawk food that'll last 20.
Oh, Jim Baker. God damn it. Son of a bitch. Okay, so David, you know what a silver fox is, right?
Yeah.
So you know that, okay, I don't want this to sound a certain way, but there's like some older gay men that like have like a certain beard.
Uh-huh.
That motherfucker has the older gay man beard.
Dude, that's the sugar daddy beard.
Yeah, he has that. He has that fucking beard.
Oh yeah,
he does. He has that beard.
No,
I think I've sort of seen the guy. Yeah, he's old pastory kind of. Oh, it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, but you don't find like okay, again, this is gonna sound fuck me. Am I ever fucking an asshole today? You don't find pastors really effeminate?
Maybe some.
I don't know. Any pastor that I've spoken to in person seems super effeminate to me. And they always have like a fucking slug handshake. And now I'm not even going to say just a man, but somebody that has like some fucking
wet noodle.
They're like, they shake your hand, where the pastors is like a fucking wet noodle slugging your fucking hand. You never notice that?
There's the power of Christ in there.
I've never really talked to that many pastors, so.
I don't know.
I don't think you talk to that many pastors because that's not a thing.
Anyway,
yeah.
I feel sorry.
Well, the ones that I have talked to, so it is a thing.
As a side note, I kind of feel sorry for these people that are consumed with this new world order stuff. Because I went through this shit when I was converting, like in my transition from Christianity to, I went through like a conspiracy theory phase to eventually leading out to atheism. And just to believe this stuff is so freaking depressing. People, if you're listening, just snap out of it and exit as fast as possible from your conspiracy theory phrase, because it's just like a mind-sucking black hole to believe that crap.
Yeah, if the entire world is your enemy, then there's something wrong.
Yeah, it can be really soul-sucking, so just get out of it. Don't believe this shit. It's crap, and
What about Building 7, though? Eh?
What
about Building 7?
The pastor's hand at perfect head Cruz.
Yeah, it's a fucking limp noodle. You can't explain Building 7. Next subject.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Dude, I'm going to hit you with the yellow snowball one day.
I'm going to give you a pastor handshake.
This is on my dick.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
That is the new word for handjob, the pastor handshake.
At least it's not a priest. It's a little bit smaller of a handshake.
Okay, go ahead, Edward.
This is I'm going to combine 13 and 14 because they're pretty much on the same level. Trump is fulfilling a 2011 prophecy that he will fight Satan.
What?
Yeah, self-proclaimed prophet Mark Taylor on his End Times news program said he had an amazing 2011 prophecy that Donald Trump has been marked by God to lead America.
When did he say this? Like
yesterday.
Like when did he say this though? Did he immediately come out to the news in 2011 and say fucking Donald Trump is going to have like the fucking Star Trek scene where fucking Kirk fights the green alien? Dun, 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 dun. Did he come out right away, or is he saying this like last week?
He said it in April of 2000.
Go fuck yourself, pal.
But this is another, Trump is fulfilling another prophecy, a 2012 prophecy that he will bulldoze the White House.
No, we did that already. Next, moving on.
Lou Communel, who had published a YouTube video, which now has received more than 400,000 views, promoting a videotape he uncovered of the late prophet John Paul Jackson, interviewing a woman who was dreamed in 2012 that Donald Trump, get this, will bulldoze right through the White House like a deck of cards.
So that person's mother doesn't have a lot of time on her hand to keep clicking that over and over and over again to give him 400,000 views. But what the fuck? Like, this is back in 2012.
Dude, this is 400,000 atheists laughing their fucking asses off.
Yeah, it's like,
You do know that that's a good way to get shot, right? Like, if you want to get shot, drive a bulldozer into the White House. Watch what happens. The Canadians know. It took them a while, but they got it down.
yeah, like not even the White House. So like where I grew up, it's 100,000 people. It's way the fuck up north. A city worker got drunk. He took a fucking snowplow. He went down to the police station and he started fucking bulldozing the cop cars. They shot him. You go anywhere near the fucking White House with a fucking bulldozer, they're gonna drone your ass. You don't think they have drones in Washington? They have fucking drones.
Unless you're Trump, in which case you can just like run over the bulldozer and win some voters.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Here's a good one.
Okay.
Trump is like Jesus.
Because they were fucking not good before. These are awesome.
No, this one's better. Trump is like Jesus, Martin and Jerry Falwell. Liberty President Jerry Falwell Jr. is one of Trump's strongest supporters. Right. Falwell compared Trump to his late father, who was proud to be politically incorrect. Remember, he's the one that said it was because of gays that we had the 9/11.
Oh, man. I can't even look at. So Trump doesn't exist. That's the only thing I got.
And Jesus and Martin Luther King.
What?
Oh, yeah. Trump is Jesus and Martin Luther King. Was so radical and unpopular that they upset the political establishment.
Is there lead in the water where this person lives?
They're all from Flint, Michigan.
What is it?
Oh no!
What is it with the the Republicans?
That was good, man.
That was good. What is it with the Republicans trying to usurp MLK all of a sudden? Like, Corinne, this has been going on for a bit now, eh? Like, we've noticed that they've been trying to take MLK and be like that it's their civil rights hero. Like, this isn't
because he's a Christian. They're trying to.
I mean, David and Corinne will probably understand this better, but it's because they need a token. You can't play the game if you don't got a token.
That's true. Very true.
But he stood everything that he stood for, they're against. And everything that they stand for, he was against.
Yeah, we can ignore that and use his quotes out of context to support our side. That's how republicanism works.
Didn't Jesus feed the poor and hang out with the hookers? Well, the Republicans do hang out with the hookers. So they got it half right.
Well, they hang out with the wrong hookers, though. I'm pretty sure they missed a part of Leviticus there. The one with the whole man with lie with another man.
That's the bathroom stall, foot under. Was that an instructional? Glory hole, motherfuckers.
Who is the dude who stuck his dick through the toilet wall?
I don't know, but I remember.
There was an organ player who fucking made his own glory hole in the bathroom. He was like, I'll just put my dick between the divider.
Oh, no, that was
How wide was that divider that he could put his dick through it?
Wasn't that not George Michael? Was it George Michael?
I don't know. Some organist playing with his organ.
Oh, well, the guy from Wham did it too, but he got charged.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
Do you remember back in the 90s there was a movie Schindler's List based on the life of Oscar?
No, never heard of it.
Oscar Schindler? Well, Trump
sounds like a Nazi.
Trump is like Oscar Schindler.
No.
The thing is,
no.
Trump supporters know that Trump is an Oscar Schindler who did not mind bribing the Nazis to get to do what is good.
No. Stop it.
This is according to Waleed Shewkat.
Hold on. They are literally saying that Trump is an undercover Nazi, dude. Like, he's a Nazi, but he's undercover on our side. He's not really a Nazi.
But you have to know that no president can get elected without playing the game. They know that, like Obama, who said he loves Israel, only to gain vote. Trump has to kiss dogs to get the seat of power.
Oh, stop it. The fuck?
Hey, it's not my words.
So he's pretending to, but who? I'm so confused. Okay, so he's pretending to be a Nazi so that he could get Nazis to vote for him. So there's a lot of Nazis in the
reverse Godwin.
Jesus fucking Christ, people are stupid.
But this has to be my favorite.
Good pull on this one, Corinne.
Yeah.
Thanks.
These next two are my personal favorites. Number 24. Hillary Clinton is motivated by the spirit of the Antichrist.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
American Family Association radio host Brian Fisher declared in August that Hillary Clinton must not be allowed to become president because she is driven by a profound Antichrist impulse. Hillary is motivated by the spirit of the Antichrist because she's against Christ. She's against Christianity. She's against the free exercise of the Christian faith. And she doesn't want the Christian faith to be part of the public square.
She's the more Christian between the two of them.
Yeah.
The fuck, man? She's always blabbering on about her.
Did he not get the email? The email.
I'm not part of that list. Trust me.
No, the Bernie Sanders email. The one that they were going to use to say he was an atheist so that Hillary Clinton would appear more Christian.
Yeah, well, they were also going to use the...
Well, I mean, isn't the Antichrist supposed to show up as somebody purporting to be Jesus?
Pretty much.
So, I mean, the logic
they said
fits
that
if you're insane.
They said that Trump was Christ-like, but she was the Antichrist.
Yeah, but she's the one who seems to be the more religious one, which is exactly what you would expect from an Antichrist. That's why Obama was the Antichrist. Obama went to church. Only Jesus wouldn't have to go to church because he's always connected with God. So only the Antichrist would go to church to appear to be more Christian.
Okay, but...
Wow, that's like from third level.
Yeah, I fall in some deep holes on Facebook.
Okay,
I hate humanity.
Let me...
I couldn't, Mike.
Just let me... you're fucked up, Mike. Let me ask...
That's why I love this motherfucker. Like, I gotta get down there and hang out more.
This is an actual explanation for Obama that I've read somebody fucking seriously believe. That was ridiculous, but that's
okay. So she must be okay. So Obama and Hillary Clinton must be undercover Muslims because they set up ISIS or they started ISIS. But not only are they undercover Muslims, they're both the Antichrist.
They have to appear to be the Messiah.
But not only is he an undercover Muslim and the Antichrist, he's a communist and he's part of a Christian, a racist Christian sect. And he's an atheist. Am I following this right? Did I get everything?
Clear as mud, Dave. Clear as fucking mud.
Okay.
But the last one is my favorite. Number 25. God doesn't want a woman president.
Oh, okay.
In July,
that makes sense though.
White nationalist.
Kidding.
In July, white nationalist radio host James Edwards questioned.
Oh, why does he have my last name?
It was actually Dave.
Questioned if women should be allowed to vote and suggested that as a woman, Hillary Clinton should not be president because women can't even be the ruler of the house under God's law. Brian Fisher essentially said the same thing this month, arguing that there is a pretty good biblical case that women should not be entrusted with political leadership.
Periods.
No, there is a Bible verse that says no woman shall have dominion over a man.
Yeah. Oh, I know that. I was just saying.
I'm just wondering if is Hillary going to get that big fight when she wants to pass her, legislation or vote for something, that there's going to be this biblical fighting that goes on where she is not worth anything because she's a woman.
Yeah, and I don't really think it's a given that she's president. I think people are overconfident.
You never know. Either way, Dave, can you start building like an apartment above your garage for me or something?
I'll live in the doghouse. I'll do it.
He would live in the doghouse.
Half of the basement is finished. I'll finish the other half of the basement.
Awesome.
Oh, I was just speaking hypothetically.
I know, but I'm just saying,
I'm speaking literally.
Well, hypothetically, I picked the south side of the basement.
Okay, Mike. Any gigs or anything coming up?
No, nothing much. Getting married on September 10th.
Anything going on other than that?
No, not really. I'm just Allahng Blakok. If you want to see random ramblings and foliage, just facebook.com Allahng Blakok and either friend or follow. If you need like help with any sort of issues and shit, then like I'll provide you with sources and shit to get help for things like being in a fucking cult, for instance. So feel free to message me. If I don't see it, it's because it's in the other inbox. That's it.
This was the Wayward Atheist podcast. Visit our new website at waywardatheists.com. Follow us on Spreaker, spreaker.com/waywardatheists. You can email us at waywardatheistpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter at waywardatheists and on facebook.com/waywardatheists. If you enjoy our content, feel free to leave us a review on iTunes and feel free to support us at patreon.com/waywardatheists.